Hi guys, this is Marty from Run Street, and I'm here with an amazing running coach, a super fast runner, and just an inspiring person today. It's Iman Smith. You may know him as So Swanky on Instagram.
How's it going, guys? How's it going, Marty? Thank you so much for having me.
Sure, thanks for being here. So first, I just want to get into your background. What got you started in running?
Okay, about 4 years ago, I worked at the New York City Marathon Convention as a brand ambassador for Abbott Worldwide Majors, and I was handing out, giveaway bags. Saw a lot of my friends coming through the convention that I didn't even know they were runners. And it kind of motivated me. But there was an older gentleman. He was about 80 years old, and he had a nice jacket with patches and pins. And I asked him, I said, where'd you get that jacket? And he said to me, I earned it. Automatically, I was kind of intrigued, so I said, earned it how? And he goes, these were marathons, half marathons that I've run. And I said, well, jacket has like 100 patches and pins. That's a lot. And he said, yeah, I have another jacket with about the same amount. I've been doing this since I was 40, and he was 80. And he asked me, have I ever ran a marathon? And I said, why would I do that? And he goes, think about it. So throughout the course of the convention, just saw more friends, and I got that fever. And I wanted to, see what that success would be like to finish a marathon. So in 2016, I ran my first one.
Wow,
yeah.
That's great. Okay, so, and you are a running coach. How long have you been coaching, and kind of how did you come to this point where you decided you wanted to coach?
Okay, that's a really great question. Essentially, I've been coaching now for 2 years, and what led me to coaching was the deficit that I saw working at Jackrabbit. Nothing to the organization, but I just saw a lot of people getting information that they weren't processing properly, right? So when we get into running, there's Runner's World, there's all the different forums, all the different blogs, and there's a lot of information to process, so you process it your own way. You don't necessarily have guidance in what a 3x5K is, or doing 800-meter workouts, or why you should, stretch, dynamic stretch versus static stretch before you work out or before you do your run. So I just saw room, and I didn't see a lot of people that looked like me, to be honest. So I said, you know what, I want to coach people, and I would like to help people get over certain things that I had to get over when I first started running. Like, what's the proper shoes? What should I be eating? How much sleep should I be getting? Why is this hurting? Why is that hurting? A lot of things come into that when you first start working out. When you first start running, you really don't know why you have back pain. Although you've been running, you're just not attributing the back pain to the run.
That's true. Yeah.
So for me, getting into coaching, basically, to answer the question in short, I saw a need, and I saw that there weren't many people that looked like me in the run community doing it actively. So I said that's what I wanted to do.
That's great. Well, I know we were talking earlier about just having more diversity in the running community, and I know when I was growing up, I ran cross country and track, and I read Runner's World a lot, and it was mostly all skinny white men, so I thought, oh, I'm not like a serious runner, or I'm not an expert. And then later I did go on to become a coach, and I get a lot of women runners, and so I think there's space for everyone, so it's great that everyone has, with social media and stuff now, we don't have one official source for everything.
Right. And I think too, to speak about that and what we spoke about in regards to diversity, and when you're a beginner, it's tough when you don't see people that look like you. So a lot of my clients are women, and I always explain to them, as best as I can, one of my rules is no self-deprecating talk. I'm not a real runner. No, that's not even a thing. If you're running and you can feel yourself in the real world, you're a real runner. We've allowed certain imagery to make us feel as if we're not supposed to do certain activities. So take yoga. Like the first time I went to a yoga class, I was completely uncomfortable.
Yeah.
But by the third class, I was saying to myself, what was the block? Oh, all I saw was small white women yoga tops, pants. I'm like, I don't want to be in there with all of that,
Mm-hmm.
Seems like there's only women in there. There's no men. But now you're starting to see more men in yoga, more men, yoga instructors.
Mm-hmm.
So it's just that. It's that thing with running. I saw a need to help people, and I also saw that we have a lot of make-believe in our brains about the activity.
Mm-hmm.
So I didn't grow up on Runner's World. I didn't even know what Runner's World was until maybe 3 years ago.
Mm-hmm.
But I ran track in high school. I looked at, the Michael Johnsons and the Carl Lewises and Florence Griffiths Joyners. Those people were like, to me, like really big athletes. And that's what one of my influences as well that got me into running, just watching track as a kid.
That's great. I loved Michael Johnson. I read his book, Slaying the Dragon, in high school, and I was like, I'm going to follow this because he had advice not just for running, also for doing a business and for
Right.
life. And he said if you apply the same focus you do on the track to your business life, your family life, then you can succeed in everything, but you just have to focus and work on it really intensely. And then when you're off the track or off the field, you don't, you let it go completely so it doesn't consume you, so you have a
Right.
balance.
Right.
Yeah.
I mean, I think that is one of the things that I've also learned through running, but also in my mindfulness practices of meditation, something that I impart in my training as well and my coaching to other people is like, let's do our best to live it off the road as we do, in our lives. Because I think a lot of times we do become consumed with running. Like when you first get started, you're running sign up for all the races, you got a medal fever, and you end up, some people end up being hurt, or some people end up, not hitting those goals that they wanted to hit because they've extended too far in what I call the social setting of running versus the competitive mind state of running. And that's those two worlds. We're regular people looking at the competitors.
Right.
And we're comparing our regular life to a competitor's life.
True.
And we say, oh, well, I'll never be like that. But you work, you have a family, this guy or gal, this is what they do. Their family's taken care of, but they're some way in Colorado or Africa or New Mexico training.
Yeah.
And we don't get that. We want to have that. So what I always say is, let's have that mind state of how the elite train, but let's put it in our normal life and how we can sparse it up a little bit. Just like how Michael says in the book, having that intent focus, but knowing when to drop it off.
Right, yeah.
Because we can get burned out.
Yeah, I think that's an important thing, and a lot of beginners don't realize that, you can't do the same thing all the time
Right.
and get different results or not get burned out.
Right. But also, too, being uncomfortable.
Yeah.
I think with running, there's a very, it's okay. Everybody's going to be all right. And it's like, this is an endurance sport. And running sucks.
Yeah.
That's the truth. It sucks. But mentally, you can overcome that portion by knowing already this is a tough activity, but I'm going to power through. And not in an angry manner, but in a calm, composed manner. And I think for me, that's one of the reasons why I started meditating, because I saw myself always angry at races. This guy passed me. Oh, I'm mad, I'm not fast enough. Once I started meditating, it kind of took all of that ego running away. Like, I gotta beat that guy, or why is that girl in front of me? And it was more like, well, everybody has different levels.
Right, yeah.
This lady could have been running for 20 years. You just got out here today.
Yeah.
This guy could be his livelihood.
Yeah.
And you're just jumping in.
That's
So
true.
my meditation practice helped me become a little more cognizant of comparing myself to other people and to what they should do, or what they're doing, what I should do rather,
And I think that makes you unusual as a running coach, because a lot of coaches don't address as much of the mental side of running with, there's some basic stuff that people do, but I think meditating can help a lot. I know it helped me a lot in college. I was running cross country and track. I was Division III, so it wasn't like super competitive or anything. but I would get really nervous.
But
and
intense, though.
Yeah, it was still intense, and I was training all the time, and I went to school kind of in the middle of nowhere, so all I did was run, and it was like, but I got burned out, and I also put too much pressure on myself, and so I had to learn to relax, and with meditation and some visualization, that helped me to not compare myself or not be like, oh my gosh, I'm freaking out, so and so passed me, I passed them in practice, why are they passing me now? And and you know, just to relax, and also just appreciating the experience that, oh, I'm healthy, I'm able to run. You know, so many people would love to just be able to come out for a run.
Yes.
So
I think to that point, that's something that, as we see in the run community, is overlooked so much. Because it's super sappy. Like, that's the sappy part, but that's the balance of our life.
Yeah.
You know, that appreciative point, the fact that you can even do it, that there's somebody looking, saying, man, I wish I was learning.
Yeah.
I wish I was out there doing that. But when you're doing it, it's not even part of your thought process.
Right.
I think, you know, I realized that at this past Boston Marathon, like, I had put so much pressure on myself to perform. Like, we got to win the team masters. This is my first Boston Marathon. I can't let my team down. I can't let my coach down. And I got hurt. And I went through this spiral of emotions all the way up to, like, the moment that the race happened. Like, I'm talking about me getting in the corral, and I'm still like, am I going to try to race this thing, or am I going to let my body tell me what to do? So what do? You go, I'm going to race this thing. You know, I get out by mile 10, my foot is like, what are you doing? But also myself, what are you doing? What are you trying to prove to anyone right now? The fact that you're injured and running is an amazing thing. Enjoy this. Don't rob yourself of that. You're not gonna hit the time. None of that's happening today. This is all going through my head while I'm running. I had to accept today's the day that you enjoy this run. Today's the day that you wave and you have 5 and you do that. Every run doesn't have to be your personal best PR. That's impossible.
Right.
That's impossible. And I think we live in a world of impossibilities and forget about what's possible and why we should think about the possible things as well. You know, I can enjoy it. I'm gonna have a good time. I'm gonna walk away from this. I'm not gonna be hurt.
Yeah. And you're at the Boston Marathon, you know, which most runners would love to run.
Right, and that was the other key point for me too. Recognizing where I was. I was like, I'm gonna be back next year.
Yeah.
I was like, you know, a lot of people won't even have that opportunity to say they qualified twice.
Yeah.
Like, I BQ'd 2 times, like on the hardest marathon course, supposedly, which is New York City. But apparently, in my eyes, they're all hard.
I would agree.
I don't think when people, oh, that one's easy. I'm like, it's 26 miles.
It could only be so easy.
That's not easy.
Yeah.
Even if you jog, when you're done, you're hurt. Something's sore.
Definitely sore.
You know? But I think that's been, for me, in my coaching practice, and what I want to bring to the running community, is that mental diversity of saying, you know what? Yeah, we're going to compete, but we're also going to have fun. It doesn't have to be Black Roses, we train hard all the time, and we don't do anything but run. Or, hey guys, bridge runner, we're just going to run and jump over stuff. It's both. It's both mentalities, if you choose to have both, you know, and I think that's where we are today, at least where I am, is allowing duality to happen, like accepting both sides. Some days I do want to run and jump over stuff, but then some days I want to be Mo Farah.
Yeah.
And I want to hit that track and I want to go hard at my workout.
Yeah. That's great. Okay, so I want to thank you so much for taking the time to talk today about your running. Yeah. And sharing your insights, and for any closing tips for runners, what do you have? What would be your 3 top tips to get faster?
Okay, so 3 top tips to get faster. Tip number 1, embrace the pain. It's gonna suck. Tip number 2, relax. And then tip number 3 is going to take time. It's not going to happen overnight. And give yourself realistic goals as far as timing goes. So if we're talking the marathon, let's say, and you want to run, 4 hours and 30 minutes, and your fastest is, 6 hours. That's a very possible goal, but we just have to keep in mind the speed work that's involved and the dedication that's involved to that process of becoming faster. So run strong, breathe easy, and relax, and those things will happen.
Awesome. Those are great tips. And where can people follow you to follow your training, or if they want to contact you about coaching?
Hit me up on Instagram @SoSwanky, and that's really it. Shoot me a message, and then we can go from there. I'm local here to New York City, accepting new clients as always, and we'll go from there. We'll sit down, talk about your plan, what your goals are, and how we can best make them happen.
Okay, great. And
Thank you.
that will be linked in our notes on YouTube. So.
Nice, cool. Yep.
Okay.
Thank you so much.
Thank
I
you.
appreciate it.
Yeah.